It's good to be back with some new information. My apologies for the delay, but I've been pretty busy the past couple of weeks. I wanted to get this video out sooner, but unfortunately I just didn't have the time. And in case you missed the announcement, Advent Children is coming to theaters in February. We have some new interviews and other info to look at, so I'd like to offer my personal input and speculate a few other things as well. And guys, for all future Final Fantasy updates, theories, and other content, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out. The article mentions how Sephiroth's role in the original Final Fantasy VII is more understated, such as being described by NPCs rather than actually being seen. The team wanted to change that for Rebirth. Kitase said, "Remake covers your encounter with Sephiroth, and now within Rebirth, we wanted to make Sephiroth a very clear antagonist for the characters to pursue during their journey." Within the original game, Sephiroth was not seen very much in the world map, but in this title, we put this element forward. So, thinking back to all the trailers we've seen, Sephiroth makes an appearance during the visit with Dr. Sharon. Of course we see Sephiroth in other moments in the trailers, but this is the only moment I can think of off the top of my head that isn't in the original game. Knowing that Dr. Sharon is caring for the black-robed figures makes me wonder if Sephiroth will mainly make an appearance each time the party comes across the figures. Perhaps every time we stumble upon the black-robed figures, Sephiroth is right around the corner. Or perhaps Sephiroth appears every time something happens that kind of sort of threatens his control over Cloud. For instance, during the scene with Dr. Sharon, the robed figures are present, but the moment Sephiroth appears, the robed figures are no longer there, and Dr. Sharon is in a different spot. This leads me to believe these two moments are spliced together, even though it seems like Sephiroth appears right after Dr. Sharon's dialogue. So what if Dr. Sharon brings up the work he did on Tifa, and how he helped her recover after what Sephiroth did to her? Then, Sephiroth appears warning Cloud not to be deceived and to trust in him. And if you remember Sephiroth's dialogue in a previous trailer, he's totally trying to convince Cloud that Tifa's dead and that he killed her. Moments that threaten Sephiroth's control over Cloud are very strong reasons for him to make several appearances throughout the game. Now, it's unlikely, but I also wonder if we'll get to witness Sephiroth actually killing the Midgar Zolom. Kitase indicates Sephiroth will make more appearances during this title versus the original game. He's a very clear antagonist for the party to pursue. We caught a glimpse of the Zolom in one of the trailers and even saw clips fighting it, so it's highly unlikely we'll witness Sephiroth killing it, but it'd be pretty cool to get wiped out the first try, grab a chocobo just like the original, and then witness Sephiroth straight up annihilate the Zolom with ease. This, in addition to the Nibelheim flashback, would demonstrate how powerful Sephiroth is and further display the skills of this antagonist we're pursuing. The team discusses several other things, such as the open world and side quests. In regards to the side content, I'm happy to see it wasn't pumped with side content just for the sake of inflating playtime. When looking at these larger titles in which there's a more expansive world that has a large amount of side content, some players may feel these have a large quantity of side content, but perhaps the actual experience is not as varied. In other words, titles with nothing but fetch quests. Further on, he talks about allowing players to experience various forms of gameplay through the side content, and that he believes they were able to achieve a distinctive feel among similar titles. Hamaguchi also mentions his favorite RPG outside of the Final Fantasy series is The Witcher 3. Now, let me go ahead and say, I could not for the life of me get into that game. I tried playing it like at least 5 times and decided it just wasn't for me. But I'm fully aware of the praise it got, especially how well received the side quests were. So if Square Enix were to learn a thing or two about side quests, I think The Witcher 3 is an excellent reference. I haven't been a fan of Final Fantasy side quests for a very long time. They can't seem to get it down in my opinion. So hopefully the side quests in Rebirth are a massive improvement. One of the things I'm most excited for is the expanded affinity system. This is precisely what side quests should have, especially in a game like Rebirth. The mechanic basically takes your actions towards a character and translates them into how certain scenes play out. Hamaguchi has been putting a huge emphasis on this mechanic for a while now. This mechanic will obviously have an effect on the gondola scene at the Gold Saucer, and perhaps it'll affect a scene in Costa del Sol as well, as in like who you hang out with during your mini vacation. And I'm curious what happens if the player just completely ignores all of Red 13's side content. What will that mean for the development of his character? And what will happen when we reach Cosmo Canyon? Several months back, Hamaguchi stated that they've recorded alternate versions of Red 13's lines for optional content. I'm not sure how in-depth this affinity system will go, but there's a lot they could do with it. One thing's for sure though, I'm going to be replaying this game several times just to see how different the cutscenes play out. The article touched on a couple mini-games and both sound solid. According to Toriyama, Queen's Blood has a massive amount of cards to collect. It's a very strategic game and has potential to be extremely fast-paced. I'm a sucker for card games, so I'm pumped to try this one out. Through exploration, Cloud can find sheet music for compositions within the world. He can then sit at the piano and play songs using the 2 analog sticks and some buttons. I'm wondering if the songs we collect will strictly be Final Fantasy VII songs, or if they'll sprinkle in some other songs from across the series. I loved how Final Fantasy 15 had the MP3 player that allowed you to play music from other Final Fantasy games. So I think it'd be pretty cool to pick up, like, let's say Xanarkin sheet music and learn how to play it. Regardless though, it does feature a free play mode as well, so expect me to upload some fun covers from other Final Fantasy games. And I do play piano in real life, so this minigame in particular has me excited. A new town that wasn't in the original Final Fantasy VII was mentioned in the article. It's called the Crow's Nest, and it's a sister town to Junon. This article highlights how we might expect the world and areas of Rebirth to interconnect with each other. The player might hear people mention Crow's Nest while in Junon, and this will ultimately lead the player to investigate this optional area. From here, the article reveals that a resident in the Crow's Nest mentions a mercenary operating out of a nearby lighthouse, so you decide to go investigate. And just like that, you're distracted from the main story and off doing side content. I'm curious to see how many other optional villages and towns there will be in the world of Rebirth. Upon reaching the lighthouse, players meet Kairi. I understand Kairi isn't the most liked NPC from Remake, but in case you didn't know, Kairi is not a brand new character to Final Fantasy VII. She was in the novel The Kids Are Alright. She's in the lighthouse trying to get her mercenary business off the ground, so it's up to you to assist her. I feel like this mercenary business is sort of a nod to the future detective business seen in The Kids Are Alright. I think it's great attention to detail, and the fact that we've already seen Leslie and Kairi makes me believe we'll see Evan in either Rebirth or Part 3. I personally love all the elements they're tossing in from the entire compilation. I briefly mentioned this in the beginning, but Advent Children is coming to theaters in February. Make sure to find a showing near you and grab some tickets. And there will be a special short film for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth containing new interviews prior to the movie beginning, so you'll definitely want to be there to witness it. I'm currently working on 3 different videos at the moment. As I mentioned earlier, I've been pretty busy, but with the year coming to an end, I should have more free time to start pumping out new content for you all. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and please consider subscribing. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.